Have you ever sat down, full of motivation, convinced you were about to draw the coolest thing you've ever made, and then an hour later, you're just staring at your canvas thinking, why does it look so bad? Alright, it's been a while since we've seen each other, so let me do this one more time. My name is Julia, I'm a self-taught artist and VTuber from the very known land of pasta. I know that the last actual video I made was from 3 months ago, but hey, now I'm here. As you can see, I have a brand new version of myself. I hope this is not too big of a change. But you're not here for this, are you? You might have read the title of the video and thought that is something you might be saying to yourself lately, over and over again, for the past days, weeks, or even months. So, why is your brain being mean to you, even if your art journey is going forward? The answer is both easy and not easy. But let me explain first. When I started drawing years and years ago, I simply did it for fun. I didn't care much about the quality of whatever I was working at the time. I didn't even think I wanted to do this as a job. I kept focusing on drawing my favorite characters and having fun with it. But slowly, I got on the World Wide Web and I started joining art groups left and right. And I kept being blown away from all these amazing artists and all the things that they were creating. That was the starting point that inspired me, making something that made other people feel the same way I felt while looking at stunning art pieces made by my idols. So I started practicing, studying on my own. But along the way, something in the back of my brain happened. I started comparing myself to the same artists I looked up to see my improvement. It didn't matter how much I practiced and actually improved my craft. I still was not close to them. I was really not working hard as I thought I was. My confidence starting to wear off. That goal I wanted to reach seemed even more further away. Did I really not improve my art? Did I really not improve at all? The more I developed my skills and my artistic taste, the more familiar I became with this feeling of never being good enough, no matter how hard I tried. Every artist has experienced this at some point, where no matter how often you practice or create, we all stumble upon this terrible thought. You might be going through the same exact thing as we are speaking. Even when we have moments where we feel confident because we're clearly improved, our perception can immediately change the moment we are exposed to knowledge or skills we don't have yet, especially through someone else's artwork. Our minds become overwhelmed, and we begin believing we'll never reach that level. The good news is that you don't have to stay stuck in that mindset forever. It's important to know why that is happening. You must have seen the famous chart at some point that explains the reason why we feel this way. Usually, we think that our drawing skills and our ability to judge our own art improves at the same pace, but they rarely do. More often than not, your eye develops faster than your hands. You start noticing mistakes you couldn't even see before, and that's exactly why your art suddenly feels worse, even though you've actually improved. But you also can learn something amazing from it. The more we struggle, the more we discover exactly what we still need to improve. So no, your art actually is not bad. It's just your brain playing tricks on you and lying to you. As long as that little voice keeps telling you to pick up the pencil again and listen to it. Remember why you started drawing in the first place. None of us began this journey because we wanted perfect illustrations. We started because creating things is fun. But we're not here to just talk, right? We're here to actually do something about it. So let me share a few things that helped me stop falling into this trap. And hopefully they'll make your own art journey a little easier too. The first thing every artist needs to learn is how to look at their own artworks in a more useful way. And honestly, this is much harder than it sounds. When you finish a drawing, your first reaction is usually to look at it. You either feel proud because it turned out better than expected, or you immediately start noticing everything that felt wrong. Maybe the anatomy looks strange, the pose feels stiff, or the colors don't create the mood you imagined. And that's completely normal. The problem starts when we stop there. Looking at the drawing and thinking this is bad doesn't actually help us improve. It doesn't tell us what went wrong and what we should focus on next. Instead, try to be more curious about your own work. Ask yourself why something feels off. Maybe your character looks flat because you need to study more about forms and lighting. Maybe your poses feel unnatural because you need more practice with gesture drawing. Maybe your composition might not feel interesting because you need to understand how artist guides the viewer's eye. The goal is not to find proof that you're not good enough. It's to understand what your next step is. Every drawing you make gives you information about what you know and what you still need to learn. learn. The second thing that could completely change your mindset is accepting that bad drawings are not a sign that you are failing. A lot of artists expect their new drawing to be better than the last one, but that's not really how it works. Art is not a straight line. Some days you will create something you're genuinely happy with. Other days you will spend hours on a drawing that just doesn't work. And even though those moments feel frustrating, they're still part of the process. Think about learning any other skill then. Nobody learns a language without making mistakes. Nobody learns an instrument without playing the wrong notes. And nobody becomes good at something without being bad at it first. Drawing works exactly the same way. Every failed attempt gives your brain more information, and every mistake shows you something you can improve. The artists you admire didn't become good because they avoided making bad art. They became good because they kept creating even when their work wasn't where they wanted it to be. A bad drawing doesn't mean you're a bad artist. It simply means you found something you haven't mastered yet. And that's actually a good thing, because now you know what you can work on. The last thing I want to talk to you about is probably the most confusing part of artistic growth. Sometimes improving can actually make you feel like you're getting worse. As we said today, the reason is that your ability to judge art and your ability to create art don't always grow at the same speed. The frustrating part is that sometimes you can see the problem before you know how to fix it. And that's where many artists start thinking that they're going backwards. But usually, the opposite is happening. Your taste has grown and your understanding has improved. Your brain is simply showing you a gap between what you want to create and what you can currently create. And the gap is the reason you are bound to keep improving. This is also why comparing yourself to other artists can be dangerous. When you look at someone's artworks online, you are seeing the final result. You don't see the years of practice behind it, the sketches that failed, and the moments where they also felt stuck. So instead of comparing your journey to someone else's finished work, try to learn from them. Look at what makes their art effective. Study their choices and understand how they solve problems. Use other artists as inspiration, not as proof that you are behind. And remember that progress is often difficult to notice while it's happening. You might not see a difference between today's drawing and yesterday's drawing, but if you compare it to something you made 6 months ago, you might realize how much you've actually improved. So keep your old artwork. Keep your sketches. I actually still have mine all piled up at the bottom of my closet. Sometimes when I'm cleaning up, I stumble upon them and I start to look at all of them over and over again. Don't delete your old art just because you don't like it anymore. They're proof of how far you've come. Improving as an artist isn't about making perfect drawings all the time. It's about learning how to observe, accepting mistakes, and continuing to create, even when the results aren't what you expect. Because every artist you admire started somewhere. The only difference is that they kept going, even if it's hard. Thank you for watching! Let me know in the comments down below if you've enjoyed this topic and the video. And if there's something in your art you're struggling with right now, feel free to write it down here as well. It might become the topic of the next video. If you like this one, remember to leave a like! And if you want to see more tutorials and art videos in the future, why not subscribe? Hope to see you soon. Bye!
And of course I got your back, don't you worry, baby.